fantastic, mesmerizing, groundbreaking news today. It's actually a revolution, if we want to call it that. The fact that Zak George is now endorsing aversives in training.
I am indeed. I am.
I think this is a day we should celebrate, a day we should mark on our calendars, and perhaps aim for a national holiday, because this is a day when dog trainers unite. We come together in unity, in one brotherhood of understanding dogs. Now, a little backstory: Zak is a critic of mine, and I want to make that really clear. But I'd like to get into this reality that Zak brought home a wonderful, fantastic, beautiful, fun, energetic Malinois Shepherd cross. And after having this dog for 48 hours, and his dog and this dog were playing, he knew the dog well enough to shoot a video and share with us the amazing interaction between his dog Wallace and his personal dog. What was that dog's name? Veronica. Now, what I love the most about this video, and Jackie, I want to give you credit for actually putting the information out there and calling Zak out and bringing about this unification of dog trainers, of all of us, real dog trainers and purely positive trainers, who will now join forces for the betterment of all dogs everywhere. This is fantastic. I could not be more excited. I am ecstatic. I'm jubilant over this. And hearing Zak saying these words, which echo in the chambers of my heart and my head: I am using aversive control.
Right. I am using aversive control.
Quote unquote, Zak George.
I am using aversive control.
I am using aversive control.
I am using aversive control.
The words we have prayed for many years to hear from Zak George. I am celebrating this, guys. I'm not kidding you at all. This is a very, very serious video. Those of you who know me know what I'm saying. Now, Zak further goes on to say there was some minor aversion there, which he's referencing his interaction, his spatial pressure on this shepherd, where he said there was some minor aversion there, but I don't think he took it that hard.
I don't think he took it too hard, but he could have.
But he could have. Now, a lot of times we use aversions, a leash pop, a correction, and we really don't think the dog takes it that hard. But perhaps they do. But it's necessary at that point. And in this situation, guys, Zak has united with all of us, has joined the brotherhood.
I am indeed. I am.
Of real dog training, of understanding that aversive control was for the betterment of Wallace and for Victoria. Veronica. I digress. Another great quote. I would love to etch these on a piece of bronze and perhaps maybe even get a t-shirt. Maybe I'm going to make this t-shirt. Zak George says, every dog trainer I've ever known has had to use an aversive at some point.
Every dog trainer I've ever known has had to use aversive control at some point.
Although this goes completely against the Aversive statement, where aversives are never okay. And seeing Zak finally take a stand against this horrible statement makes me like Zak even more. Now, one of the times he mentions using this aversive is to separate a dog fight, prevent a dog fight, or to pull the dog from going into the street, which we so often use that aversive to keep the dog from running into the street and have been criticized for doing so. And thank God, Zak is finally on our side. Now, the other statement he made, which I thought was so important, was that he said he would not use these methods Instead, he would use positive methodologies. That would be in a training program. And he said right after he did, but right before he didn't. Right? So there's many times when we need to use these aversives. And again, I want to celebrate Zak for attesting to the use of aversive and how they can be beneficial in training.
Right.
And then we go on to hear the bigger point. I call it the bigger point. Zak says, let's say I was using aversive.
Let's say I had used aversive control as part of a training or behavior modification plan. Let's say I was using inappropriate aversives with Wallace.
Okay, well, let's say it because you did, right? You did. Physical spatial pressure is an aversive, just like a prong collar. Zak says it's the fact that I would use these things, such as an aversive, would not change the scientific consensus.
That fact would not change the scientific consensus that there's no evidence that aversives are necessary.
And I further wholeheartedly agree with you, Zak. Wholeheartedly agree with you. And therefore, that proves that the scientific consensus is not able to train a dog. And thank you for proving that.